Julian mentioned, I mean, they're pretty good defensively at kind of getting out there and not leaving you too much space. There's a few open looks, but not many. Just talk about that aspect of Indiana State's defense.
Well, they're just playing good, and they're good, for their level. I mean, they're really good for ours, obviously. I thought our execution was really good. I thought we got good opportunities. The challenge is in finishing those opportunities. We'd get a good screen, we'd get a good read, we'd get a good pass, but then there's somebody close enough to challenge a shot that is usually a more open shot. You get a cutter going to the basket, we get a good opportunity. There's somebody, with more size and athleticism than we're used to seeing to help clean that up. So I was really pleased with our execution. As a matter of fact, I don't think they will play too many opponents this year who will execute and get better opportunities against them than we got. Now, they'll play people who will obviously score more and take advantage of the opportunities they get, or just plain break them down. But, I could show you on the film, there's plenty of opportunities we got. Finishing the last part of that opportunity is the challenge when you're playing a little uphill.
Talk about getting the chance to, not only play your starters against a Division I team, but your whole roster gets a chance to do this, and the benefit from, player one down to the bottom of the roster. Just talk about that and what they gained out of this today.
Well, for one thing, we needed something right now because practice is starting to get a little old. It doesn't take long. It just takes a couple weeks for practice to start becoming a little mundane. And so we needed something, whether it was a scrimmage against a Division III school or an exhibition game. But the exhibition games have become more common with the Division IIIs playing out the Division Is. And it's really a good opportunity for guys to play in a bigger venue, play really talented athletes, get a little bit more exposure. And also can you ever really see where you're at if you don't play uphill sometime? So this is a great opportunity to play uphill, but it still doesn't count against our record. One of the concerns I always have going into this is it going to do Indiana State any good? And Greg swears to me it did them a lot of good. I hope it does. Maybe it'll help them when they play Evansville, because Evansville runs a lot of motion, and maybe we showed them some things that they can do better. So that is also a concern. I want it to be a worthwhile venture for both of us, and I thought it was. I thought the score may not look as competitive. We would have liked to kept the score down, but I thought possession by possession was very competitive. What wasn't competitive is what we could do with it in transition. If you take away transition, which obviously you can't do because that's an important part of the game, but if you take away that element, the transition, it's not a blowout. It's a fairly competitive game if you take away the transition points. The reason transition is tough on us, when it's half court, we can have our defense settled, have good help. Everybody knows where they're supposed to be. We can execute a plan. In transition, it's just the best, fastest, quickest, best ball handling, shooting guys will prevail, and that's kind of what happened in transition. We'd get people back, but we just couldn't corral them.
It's easy to forget with the two NCAA appearances and with being picked to win the HCAC, you do have a lot of new players you're trying to work in, or who are trying to work into bigger roles. Talk about some of those guys, and it's just one game, but some of the guys you want to emerge this season, and what did you see out of those guys today?
Well, I saw a couple major positional questions we have going into this year because of the four guys we lost last year. We lost our two post players who were really solid, good players, and Austin Weatherford, who's a three-time All-Conference guy, who's our point guard, and Nate Gissentanner, who was a wing. We have pretty good perimeter guys and wings. Finding some answers inside is a question, and finding a backup point guard is a question. And I think we went a long way towards answering some of those questions. I thought Matt Losing was really good. There's going to be games when Matt is facing an uphill battle from a quickness standpoint, but he's big and he knows what he's doing. And some of the stuff that he couldn't do tonight, he'll be able to do. against guys not named Kitchell and Bell and whoever else was in there. And then I thought Wade was really good. He gave us a lot of energy. He showed it doesn't matter whether he's 5'3". He lists himself at 5'5". We'll have to debate that one. But he can play. He's played big time competitive high school basketball at North Central High School. He wasn't just a throw-in. He played all the time, been well coached, played with and against great players. You know, his size is an issue, but if it wasn't too big of an issue against Jake Odom and Indiana State's other perimeter guys, I don't know how it's going to be too much of an issue in the HCAC. So I was really pleased with those two things.
The new rules should benefit him. I mean, he can get to the basket, and he doesn't need a lot of space to get there. You know,
Yeah.
without being disrespectful. I mean, it should help him.
But it might hurt him defensively because he's going to have to attack people, and you know, so we'll have to work that out. I honestly, I did not see any difference whatsoever in the way the guys called the game. I thought the game was called exactly the same as it's been called. Now, I think part of that is because there's a difference in quickness levels, and we're going to foul more than them only because we're playing from behind, not score, but possession. And Greg's really been emphasizing to his guys, I believe, since their scrimmage, to get your hands off. And as he said in his comments, we're not a just isolate, drive the ball to the rim kind of team. And that's what they'll see at times, as will we.
Coach, this Indiana State team was picked near the top of their league. Is that the type of team you saw out there today?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I'm an expert. I'm kind of a fan just like everybody else when it comes to that kind of stuff. But, you know, I know that they have their challenges. They got things that they're going to have to get better at. One of them was walking around in a boot today. I think Gant will really help him because he can add another inside guy that's a scorer that can score in a couple different ways and knows what he's doing. You know, the other thing is Greg played his guys. We both played a lot of people, but he played his guys that matter, low 20s, you know, to give other guys an opportunity. I played my guys, a lot of different guys, you know, so that factors in too. But, you know, they have a good place to start with Jake Odom and A-Rob, there is no good matchup for A-Rob. And it doesn't matter whether it's us or in the Missouri Valley. If you put a 4-man on him, he's too good on the perimeter, and if you put a 3-man on him, he's going to beast him. And he's playing really well for them, and then I think their bigs do a good job. I think he's probably looking for depth in there. He's got a lot of guys on the perimeter who can guard. And you mentioned it earlier with the high school buddies, Julian and Christian Smith, but Christian was the best player on the floor. If they can get that out of him on a regular basis, they're going to be really good, because I thought he was outstanding. And I told him afterwards, because I know him, he's a great kid, I told him, you know, kind of cat's out of the bag now. When I see a, you know, 1 for 3, no rebounds, nothing else performance from him, I'm going to get on the phone, I'm going to rip his rear end, because he's capable of more. I think he's come a long way.
Anything else? Coach, thank you.
My
Best of
pleasure.
luck.